expectations are clear. The motive behind it is already known. That when you are dealing with the Gambia government, you always have to sleep with an eye open, because for peace to reign, we wanted respect and we accorded it to the state. Thereby we told them our demands rather. But as you can see, if what happened here is anything to go by, is that the Gambia government is not friendly when it comes to dialogue. Because we've respected them, we sat on them on the decision-making table, had a dialogue with them, but it was all a photo obsession, meant only to score political points. So we fulfilled our own side of the bargain, but they did not fulfill theirs. And true victory is not what is being earned in the courts. True victory is being earned when what you are advocating for becomes possible. We do not have victory because of the price floor. It's not still there. And what we have seen at the end of the day is the Gambian masses are continuing to live with internet prices that are being hiked on a daily basis. And when it comes to this, the government is becoming successful in changing the narratives from the price floor of the internet to freeing the youths and dropping the charges. That is not the main motive, because they are always trying to spin and shift the narratives. Now, what we are advocating for, and just a gentle reminder before we continue, is we had a protest on the 23rd of July. And that protest, when we started it, it was against 5 institutions for gross corruption and misappropriation of public funds. From 23rd July to this date, 11 September, it is 50 days. Now, it means that we have 40 days more to meet the government in the streets again, because we have been entering into dialogue with these people for the past donkey years, from 1965 to date, and nothing has become fruitful in whatever that we have been doing. So, our only power, the only way that we can shift the narratives to favor the masses and the public is through the streets. And that has been made categorically clear to date, because all you people have seen here is that this case is politically driven, because they want to be starting to adjourn this case, making it impossible for us to go back to the streets again, which is not something that we are even going to consider. Because we are going back to the streets again, and if it happens again that they do not give us the permit, we are going back to that mile 2 prison again. And let us make that to be categorically clear to them that we are not going to succumb to these threats of bail bond, evidence coming in, bringing in witnesses here and there. It is just a matter of distractions, because this is a politically driven case that they want to prolong until elections or so. And people are thinking 11 steps ahead. We did not mobilize today the youths for them to come here so that we can settle this case in peace, so that they can drop the charges as they initially said. But that did not happen. And at the end of the day, you saw that they have proceeded with the case. And what happens next, all of you people know, because while all of us, the usual suspects, are out, I have said it again, times without numbers. When corruption and inefficiency becomes the norm of the day, this country will not be able to hold Gala and Adama Barrow as free citizens in this country. Thank you.
Just a follow-up. Do you think that this tragedy, they are doing it so as they will stop you guys from oil? Like you said in your prayer, you guys are already on the charge. You are reporting to court. Now they are pushing the case furthermore to meet the day, like the day that you got your 90 days. Is it possible that you guys will go out if your 90 days elapse, even though the court belt is on you guys?
Well, us going out, you see, Gala is the government of the people. Gala is the government of the masses. Gala doesn't take instructions from the Gambia government. Gala is being driven by the purpose of the suffering Gambians, the farmer, the teacher, and so on. Gala is not a group of armchair activists that sit in cozy air-conditioned rooms waiting for workshops so that they can be signing $300 and be going home after receiving breakfast and lunch. This is not a youth movement. Gala is a serious movement that is a nationwide movement founded by collective people from different walks of life in this country. So what happens next is going to be dictated by the Gambian people. Not by me, not by you, not by anyone else, but by the Gambian people. If the Gambian people say that 90 days has elapsed today, we are going out again in next week, we go out. Because if we see that we have to maintain the price floor of internet in this country due to Pura, then that's what the people decide, then we go with it. So we are driven by the necessities of the Gambian people and not by any other force or institution. Yes.
Kengajar court hearing kedal for pare say ko ya adjourn le to 2nd of October. Mundali latina ya adjourn.
Wala yalan kiti bon kiti time wala ka locate je. So no time wala for elapsed like ka be start la 12:30 for kada for 1:30. So that mean 1 hour time wala di mola. So ka bo wato sita wala na ya adjourn. Bari nyinen karo ni jabiro me yalan ka be lawyer ni sedo tema manza kunda men nanna o mo fenne de me yalan ka mambam follow.
Okay, say nyim fale hope so ko nyi court case nyal ba win la.
Until believe tako men kera jang wala funding kol me findini mal luwati nyaaje luwati nyamanki je ay menke wala nyinde ko man sakunda le sembo de la wala constitution le sembo de la ko funding kol si fintino le la ni ku ya yantande ni e kuje melan ko manta so ko menga munta ko e manke ko kada demonstration wala kada procession la bari kada le pour que la ni ku ya de yantande man sakunda la ka kayto save ka sorenda to the authorities o nyanda ka ke fenne de melan ko luwa sembo de so jigida ko nin kiti o tada fanya to bolo betar na karol.
Okay, c'est un beral ko comme la atelier findo minke luwa la sembo nyindi albari man sakunda ba ko comme ko alfindi tele on lawfully c'est nyindu fa aliamute be sembo tamandikal kamba wala fo
ngajele ko be men yantandika wala nyinde ko funding kewol mum mo le mela lon ko be findika pour que la ni ku ya man sakunda la fa ko wala stop me yalon ko na démocratie le odi mola no ni ko bo kala kamunda ko kala démocratie le nyaado nga nyine kele non kuno ka andandila ko démocratie be kala fa odi melon ko bebe wulla la be kelo kala la tande ndel yaje ko nyanto le nyinde nena section 25 of the constitution la ko funding kewol si fintino le kata kala ni ku ya yantandi man sakunda la any government institution so ningo fintoge ngeda multi melon ko mantal man sakunda na daka fok criminal charges la wol ka kamunda ko akamunda na démocratie la faka wala ke fenti melon ko la faka sareng ka entandi la fana be symbole wa african funding ko la melon ko ni luwala silo mantanyo ba bayra be kiti bonto da dunno ko bal jigita ko tella fengo fenga finti na ni luwala silo taranyola.
Okay, since your court case ni ya adjourn le to 2nd of October, iba mo na follow youth solia.
Wala rek afo funding ko le melbe belo kono ka andandila ko nga democratic process allow nga legal process allow for exhaust ka andandila we will follow momo ya longo fana they are accused person be encourage la pour fintina every kiti bon yana kiti bon because ni man nana is what tactics usually bel revocable so mba fole ko yana kiti bon do yedan ko kiti bon la kontel be jigita wala hamo bendal la ka andandila man fenke me alongo ne luwantam bal yale wot.
I mean, there was even at one point when he was asked about, whether what he meant by unlawful, and also with regards to the Public Order Act. And then the prosecutor, that's our defense, was asking this question to the witness. And then the prosecutor interjected to say that, these are legal matters. Well, it goes to say, does that mean that the witness himself, as a chief inspector, yes, of police, right, does not have an idea of what it means to be lawful or what the Public Order Act? I think they stopped him to rescue him. Of course, the prosecutor tried to rescue their own witness from answering that question. And I think that answers for you how the police operate. It was a case of this was the order he received according to his, his witness testimony. And I went ahead and I did that. And then he kept trying to highlight that Sar, who is the commander, was the one engaging, us, the protesters. But hey, it shows you that they don't want to be drawn into that area where they have to start answering what is unlawful according to the Public Order Act or not. Yeah. Well, the only message I have to say is to the government. We're very disappointed in this government. Why? Because we feel that they're saying one thing and they're doing another thing. This government says that they want to engage in dialogue with us. Today, they had a chance to actually demonstrate that they are serious about this dialogue. Up until today, I'll put it on record, the government has not sent a letter to any of the organizations, that's us, Gomsa Bopa, and our partners, right? Edward Francis Small Center for Rights and Justice and Gala. They haven't sent an official letter.
But we know what this government is like. They would say these things, and then behind the scenes, don't be surprised. They'll be engaging one or two of our members, trying to get our people aside. But our people, we are united. We're united in this message, which is this government, if they are serious, right, and they are not just playing to the gallery, let them revoke whatever charges, bogus charges they have here, and let us see what we can go into. But I can tell you, for me, looking in, doing this as an activist, I don't think that they are serious. And today is a demonstration. This government is not serious about dialogue.
The whole Gambian to understand this Public Order Act is a subsidiary legislation. The Constitution of the Gambia, take precedence, take all over, it's the supreme law. A subsidiary legislation is like the mother and the baby. Before you talk about the baby, it's the mother. All right? So let's understand it that way. It's a conditional provision. It asks for conditions. They are just legally if they know title, in short, and they cannot take the people for a ride. The next thing I'm saying is that if people don't sense any fair hearing in this issue, it is the job of the youth and the public to come out and demand justice. That is what I'm trying to say here. Let this be clear.
Okay, so I'm going to get a court outcome.
Coming amange kudi mu yalan ko warta bake e bol sadana jande bi pruka kitio tei wa nyata kaje magistrato e kitio adjourned ko dege fo karikuto mun kana atili fulala wala October 2nd, and the proceedings started wala signing medaming the first witness natale wala the police operation commander mi yalan ko ala testimony dile ko mun keta protest dula saying si mun fo no doro wala ye court adjourned bari ñi mu silolti loi kono mbe silo ñi bulala ita mbe mbatula fo the 2nd of October nga jibe mumbe kala saying
ko ite banu min expect kan ñi court yarinto.
Well, we expect they're going to drop charges. They're going to not to proceed with the case. But coming inside case iba pick up because the first witness have testified, meaning much more witnesses will come if I'm right. So my expectations are not that, because first is really sad that the government and then the prosecution have to pursue this case. These young people have not violated any law. The Public Order Act, I said munem unlawful assembly didn't work because the Public Order Act move for ni protest ke. Ebe bola tungkan killing bida flanjangoto. Wala ebe loudspeaker use la eka pamido nyini mo bege nyini tara ilota period la. So by expecting the state is supposed to drop these charges and then I make sure that this case doesn't proceed. But something we are seeing otherwise, we're going to follow the procedures and see what happens. But the state needs to know that what they are doing, if it is a delay tactic or a detachment tactic or deterrent tactic, it's not going to work actually, because these young people have a life to live than going to courts every day, and they have not violated any law to be going to court back and forth. I think they need to be fair and then drop all charges. And also, Mansakunda Bavagela from any mole singa kacha. Ini molbe kachanya mu yalan ko elu ala ndiga luwa mu yalan ko adin silo manta. We are all on the charges. I didn't found this morning I have to go and report again, and the others of the team have to report. So
the word disappointment will be an understatement, because like you clearly stated, it is very, very, very much expected from a high command of the police at the chief level. It is expected that the officer at that level should be very much aware with what the law says, what the police act says, and what all these other policies says. So when he said that, you could hear the grumbling within the court. People were laughing and grumbling because it's funny and it's very surprising. So and then that is one of the things that gave us an alert, that keep giving us an alert that when it comes to these police officers, there is a serious reform that is supposed to be done. although we failed in our responsibilities as people and also as a government as well too. Because it's expected at this point in time the security sector reforms will have been taken place. That should have been like a question of the past, a topic of the past. But as we speak, the SSRs, the security sector reform is still yet to be done. Not long ago, we received a report from Malagan that almost 7 point something Gambian dollars has been spent to security sector reform. And then surprisingly, here we are in the court. A police from the high command have no clue of what the Public Order Act says and how lawful and unlawful a gathering could be. He could not even give us a definition. So it's funny, it's disappointing, it's all of it. Well, the signal is very clear. It signals that we are in a very complicated situation. And it's very serious as well, because if the police officers who are law enforcers, the people that are supposed to enforce the law of this land, don't have a clue of what the law says, that is serious. That is a serious indication that we are in trouble. What that means, either it be you people, I mean the media people, myself as a simple citizen, I'm a civilians, CSOs members, political party, activists, we are all in trouble as a country, because at the end of the day, when it comes to these brutalizations that happens to us not long ago, it could happen to every one of you, because the ones that are supposed to enforce those laws don't understand the laws, and it's very serious, to be honest. It's serious and it's alarming, and these are some of the things that we need to be very, very serious about, talk about it, and at the same time we advocate about it to make sure the security sector reform, like I said earlier on, is being put to effect, and then we can then have a chance to reform all of these police officers going forward. Because coming from the region that we came from a dictatorial regime where we all understood, most of the things that took place during that regime, and then it was expected, maybe on the first year or the second year, the security sector reform will have been put into place so that majority of these police officers or men in uniform are reformed. But then here we are, 9 years after, same story. So it's very sad and it's surprising.
Are not being dropped and the court case is adjourned.
Well, I am very, very disappointed, not just in the court case, but that this is the direction where our country is going, where young people who have responsibilities come from great families, citizens who are just in the frame of the law, who are fighting for the rights of the Gambian people's right to have affordable and quality internet and other services. I'm so disappointed as a Gambian who personally went into exile, who personally was at the border, helping with the humanitarian crisis, to come back to us being in this kind of situation. This is very, disappointing. I hope that there's an overhaul in the system, like, the head of state once promised during the coalition era. So overall, I'm disappointed in that Gambia itself is moving in this direction. I am also disappointed in the selective justice that is happening. As we all seen, couple of almost 1 week ago, there was some unlawful assembly, according to the law, of two different groups who some of them even went to the police headquarters and occupied, which is something I support, by the way. I believe every citizen has the right to come out and peacefully assemble, but the selective justice of the system and this state should not go this way. If one person is charged for one thing, I believe that everyone should be equal in the law. But picking and choosing who you choose to put in a situation, I really believe is unfair. It's unfair and it's a breach of law. I have to be very fair. Like, during my experience, most of the prison officers were very good people. They even were overwhelmed by the fact that we were there, because Mile 2 is already crowded. And with that much pressure, I believe many of them tried their best. Out of 100, I will give them 80, because not everybody is perfect. But I do, have to give credit to the prison officers who really treated us well and made sure that, we had access to everything that we really needed, despite it not being their responsibility to bring us there. They're just there to, detain people after the order has been given. So shout out to the good prison officers and all of the good people in uniforms, because there are many good ones. Some of them are even part of our campaign moving in solidarity. So I will also take advantage to all of the good officers, keep on being good, and please, all of these unlawful commands, we know it comes from the top, politically motivated, but please try your best not to fall for it. Because the good ones like you is the reason why we fought for change, so that we can have security sector reform, where the officers see us as brothers, where the officers don't see us as enemies, and the officers, they follow due process in all handling of anything regarding the civilians. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. So last messages is, young people, the people of the Gambia, we will not be intimidated. We are lawful, we are legal. Let's be united. Let's show solidarity, and let's continue fighting for what is right for Gambia, not for us, but for the next generation of Gambians, which is our children, so that they can live in a better environment, because we deserve better. Thank you.